The Kentucky State Thorobreds come home with a 10-9 record. Home to take on LeMoyne-Owen College, also with a 10-9 record, 8-4 in the conference, number 1 in the conference. Welcome to the Exum Center on the campus of Kentucky State University. Hello, everybody. I'm Anthony Ridgeway, the voice of Kentucky State University sports, along with my friend and broadcast partner, Steve Tressler, Matt Keene, our producer, back in the studio.
Hello, everybody.
Steve, the Thoroughbreds back home now to take on this is a big game.
You know, Anthony, you just now said that LeMoyne-Owen was number 1 in the country, in the conference, and you're right, but they're tied up with Morehouse. Morehouse and LeMoyne-Owen, almost identical records. Morehouse actually leads by 1 game, but word is we can't confirm this, that they were beaten by Tuskegee yesterday. I tried to look it up on the internet, couldn't find it. But if that's the case, then that means at this very moment, Kentucky State can take sole control of first place if they win here tonight. And if the very least, if they win here tonight, they'll tie it up for first in the conference.
Because they'll have an 8-4 record after tonight's game, providing they win against LeMoyne-Owen. Steve, you and I up against stiff competition tonight. There's a huge game in a place about 20 miles south of here. We don't know what school that is.
That's right. Berea College is taking on
Pikeville College, huh?
Yeah, I gave up my seats at the Florida-Kentucky game tonight to be here.
I didn't. I didn't. But I got a feeling we're going to be up against the sound being turned down on the television and the radio being up listening to this ball game. And we plan to bring you every minute of tonight's broadcast. We'll be back with the starting lineups. And I'll tell you what, we'll go ahead and introduce those starting lineups now. First for the visiting LeMoyne-Owen Magicians. At guard, Larry Boykin, 6'2", 180, and a sophomore from Macon, Mississippi. At the other guard, Earl Fisher, 6'2", 179, a junior from Benton Harbor, Michigan. At the center spot, Brian Middleton, 6'5", 200 pounds. He's a senior from Chicago. At one forward, Ortiz Glaze, 6'5", 190, a senior from Chicago. And at the other forward, Rooney Payne, 6'3", 180, and a junior from Racine, Wisconsin. Now for the home Kentucky State University Thoroughbreds with a 10-9 record overall, 7-4 in the conference. They start a 3-guard offense. At one guard, you know him very well, number 24, Steve Reese, 6'1", 190, and a senior from Cincinnati, Ohio. Michael Dupree, he wears number 32, 6'3", 182, and a freshman from San Antonio, Texas. Thomas Beavers is the third guard, 6'2", 175. He's a freshman from Birmingham, Alabama. He wears number 35. Cian Jackson wears number 42. He's at one forward, 6'5", 205, a senior from Nicholasville, Kentucky. And Jason Lewis, the big man in the center, wearing number 50, 6'8", 270 pounds. He's a senior from Portsmouth, Virginia. We're just about set for tip-off here tonight as these two teams are about to tip it up here at midcourt. LeMoyne-Owen wearing their road purple with tan numbers trimmed in white with purple shorts, letters with the same coloring. Kentucky State wearing their home home white with green numbers trimmed in gold, white pants as well. Jason Lewis set to jump it at center against Brian Middleton. And the tip is up, controlled by the Magicians. And we have an infraction to start the game. And the officials are going to convene at midcourt.
Yeah, I think what's going on there, Anthony, is on the tip, the LeMoyne-Owen player jumps into Jason Lewis and made contact.
Kentucky State will be moving from left to right on your radio dial.
Kentucky State hired Don Smith, new football coach.
From Lafayette High School.
Yeah, we'll talk more about that later.
And we'll also have an interview with the baseball coach coming up at halftime. Kentucky State on the attack. Steve Reese brings it to the point. LeMoyne-Owen opening up in a man-to-man defense. Fisher out top guarding Reese. Down to Thomas Beavers on the right side. Reese back at the top of the key. Inside to Jackson. He'll shoot a 10-footer. No good. Rebound pulled out of there by number 42, Glaze. And here come the Magicians. Earl Fisher running the point for the Magicians. From the top of the key. From 3. No good. Rebound Jason Lewis. Michael Dupree back the other way for Kentucky State. The Magicians back quickly on defense. Shot up by Dupree, no good. Rebound Kentucky State. Jackson comes out of there with it. Steve Reese from three-point range, good from the left side of the floor.
You know, Coach Bennett is not going to be happy with the first shot taken there by Michael Dupree, because Coach Bennett's been saying all week, we got to get 2 or 3 passes before we get a shot. You can't come down here and just throw up the first thing you see.
Kentucky State opening up in that full-court press, and there's a turnover And Kentucky State has come up with the ball. Michael Dupree down inside. Shot up no good. And that's Jackson on the inside. He's going to be fouled.
Good move to the hole that time, though, by Steve Reese. On his way there, though, Dupree. On his way there, though, he got a little bit of contact. The officials letting him bang around here a little bit.
Yeah, they are a little bit. I'm surprised at that.
As the game started on the floor, the scramble for the ball, there's a lot of contact. No call, though.
Ortiz Glaze picks up the first foul of the game for the Magicians, and we have a timeout on the floor. You're listening to KSU Sports on the Kentucky State University Sports Network. Back in 30 seconds.
Hi, I'm Winston Bennett, former University of Kentucky basketball player and assistant coach. Now I'm the head men's basketball coach at Kentucky State University. I want to take a moment and invite you to come to our beautiful campus to watch the Thorobreds play this season. Our style of play will be very exciting and will keep you jumping out of your seat. So don't miss a moment of Thoroughbred basketball as we attempt to restore the glory.
I think I look nice.
Welcome back to Kentucky State University, everybody. 18:49 left to go in the first half. We're just underway. 3-0 our score. Kentucky State on top. Michael Dupree at the free throw line for the Thoroughbreds, and he misses his first free throw. Second free throw is up, no good. Kind of a slim crowd in here tonight as the Kentucky ball game is going on, as we have a shot up by Kentucky State from three-point range. And, of course, our vision was blocked by pedestrians, of all people.
The spectators.
LeMoyne-Owen back the other way. Fisher on the attack. Inside. Shot up, goes up, and it's blocked by Jason Lewis as Rooney Payne tried to get off a shot down on the inside. And Lewis is saying, I ruled this paint area.
Yeah, Payne went up there with kind of a weak shot anyway, but then Big Lewis got all his body on him instead of putting his hand out there to get the block. And as it turns out, the 6'3", 180 Payne is no match for the 6'8", 250.
Rooney Payne at the free throw line. Jason Lewis picks up the foul. That's his first.
Lewis.
Free throw up by Payne, and it's good.
LeMoyne-Owen does not have a football team in the conference.
Interesting.
But they practice basketball year-round, I'm sure. Now, they won the conference last year, Anthony.
Second shot up by Payne. It's no good. Rebound, Kentucky State. And here comes Thomas Beavers back the other way, and there's going to be a turnover as he was pressured by Rooney Payne, knocked the ball out of bounds and off Beavers, and here comes LeMoyne-Owen back the other way.
I'm not too sure that ball wasn't knocked out by LeMoyne-Owen, but Beavers he's not going to put up a fight, first of all, because that's not the type of person he is, but it turns into 2 points at the other end.
For Rooney Payne, and LeMoyne-Owen gets a basket, scores 6-3. Kentucky State defense breakdown that time. Beavers from three on the left side of the floor, shot up no good. Rebound pulled out of there by Brian Middleton. And here comes Fisher. Penetrates down inside. Shot up on the right side of the floor by Ortiz Glaze. No good. Rebound Jason Lewis, and Thomas Beavers on the attack for Kentucky State. Now turns it over to Michael Dupree.
You can see Coach Bennett went over and got Duckworth and Johnson off the bench. Now Johnson is a senior. He didn't start here tonight. That's because he's been ailing all week. He's had an injury to his knee. He's been icing it all week long. Didn't practice a few days this week also. Beavers started in his place, Anthony.
Lewis loses it inside, gets it back, shot up, blocked, and rebound out of there. Brian Middleton, he blocked the shot and got the rebound. Here comes Earl Fisher, and he's going to be tripped at the three-point line as he headed up that left side of the floor. And Kentucky State going to pick up the foul as number 44, Chris Duckworth, comes into the game. Also, Jonathan Johnson. The foul is on Michael Dupree. That's his first. Kentucky State second.
Now, by bringing Johnson and Duckworth into the game, what you do is you bring in a lot of offense right here because Johnson can light it up, and Duckworth was really the leading scorer the first 5 games of the season for Kentucky State.
Earl Fisher on the point, being guarded by Michael Dupree of Kentucky State. Operating on that right side, looking inside, loses it, bad pass, picked off by Jason Lewis, and here comes Michael Dupree for Kentucky State, layup on the left side, good.
Good job in transition that time for Kentucky State off that steal.
8-3 is our score. LeMoyne-Owen, Rooney Payne on the right side to Ortiz Glaze. They set it up at the top of the key with Earl Fisher. Glaze from the corner, good from three-point range.
Now they're supposed to set up a full court trap here, and they actually went to the half court trap and got the steal right away that time, Anthony. So we're back on the offensive end for LeMoyne-Owen.
LeMoyne-Owen on the attack. Larry Boykin. Kentucky State in that half court trap, shot up from 3 on the right side, and it's no good, but we have a whistle call, a whistle blown.
That's the most frustrating thing for a head coach, is to have a shooter get fouled in three-point range. You don't want him to go to the line to start with, because that means your team's picked up a foul. But then to have him go to the line and get fouled and then have 3 free shots,
absolutely,
that really hurts.
The foul is on Michael Dupree. That's his second, team 3. At the free throw line, Ortiz Glaze, the 6'5" senior from Chicago, Illinois. First free throw up is off the front of the rim. No good, and Kentucky State's Anthony Diggs will check into the ball game for Michael Dupree, who will have to sit down with those 2 fouls.
LeMoyne-Owen overall, Anthony, is a really big team. They only have one player that's under 6'2", and that's a 5'9" senior from Memphis, Tennessee, Samuel Batchelor, and he won't be in the game much tonight. Everybody else 6'2" and above.
Ortiz Glaze, second free throw is up, and it's good. 8-7 is our score with 16:27 left to go in the first half. Diggs headed up that right sideline, penetrates inside, kicks it back outside. Now inside to Jason Lewis on the right side, off the backboard, and good. Jason Lewis with his first 2 of the game. LeMoyne-Owen, Larry Boykin. Kentucky State still in that full court pressure, gets it across the timeline. Earl Fisher on the left side, inside to Brian Middleton, puts it up off the board, and we're going to have a goaltending call.
No, they're going to say jump ball.
I'm sorry, jump ball. And possession will remain with the Magicians. Glaze will take it out. He's being guarded on the inbounds by Jonathan Johnson. Kentucky State in a man-to-man on the inbounds play. Shot up from 3 by Payne, and it's no good.
Duckworth has it now for Kentucky State, Anthony, at the other end. Trying to get that offense rolling. They give it to the freshman. That's Diggs.
Excuse me. Jason Lewis inside up for Kentucky State. Shot up, no good. And they're going to have a foul call. Brian Middleton picks up the foul, and he actually went for the block that time.
You know, what you'll see a lot, though, for these big men like Jason Lewis, he's kind of at a disadvantage because as an official, in the back of their mind, they're thinking, this is a big guy. He can take a couple fouls and not get hurt. But what happens is Jason Lewis ends up taking a pounding by the end of the night and didn't get all the calls he probably should have. And that could turn into fouls because he's over-aggressive at the other end because he doesn't feel like he's getting his calls.
Lewis's first free throw is up, and it's good. 11-7 is our score. Second free throw is up, and it's good. So 2 free throws for Jason Lewis. 12-7 is our score. Kentucky State in that man-to-man full-court trap after every made basket, and the Magicians are struggling with it. Anthony Diggs with a turnover. Layup on the other end, no good. Diggs back up again, lays it up, good.
Yeah, Jonathan Johnson was able to get pass from Diggs, and Johnson was able to make that shot, Anthony.
Back the other way comes LeMoyne-Owen. Earl Fisher being guarded by Diggs full court. Pass slapped away by Steve Reese. And Coach Bennett applauding on the sideline as that full court pressure is starting to take its toll on the Magicians. Inbounds pass to Earl Fisher. Being guarded at the top of the key. And we have a whistle blown as Larry Boykin tried to penetrate. And it's going to go against the Thorobreds. Looks like Diggs is going to pick up his first foul.
Yeah, Glaze and Boykin are the leading scorers for these teams. Boykin that time, he's averaging about 15 points a game, but hadn't taken a shot here tonight yet, Anthony.
Glaze set to inbounds the ball for the Magicians. As they set it up back at the top of the key is Earl Fisher. Into the corner, pass knocked away as they tried to go inside. Jason Lewis knocked it away from Brian Middleton.
These games are being produced by Blade Productions, and you can catch this game on Friday night at 8:30 on cable channel 10.
Inbounds ball to the Magicians. Kentucky State in looks like a zone defense now. We have a foul called as there's penetration from the three-point line. And I'll tell you what, Kentucky State's starting to pick up some early fouls here in the early going.
Well, that's one thing about a Bennett coach team that he'll allow is for his players to pick up a few fouls. Now, he uses a lot of the players on that bench. As a matter of fact, at the end of the game tonight, if you look over here, you may see 2 shirts that haven't come off.
Exactly.
And he's got quite a few players on the bench healthy now. At one point of the season, the team, you look over on the bench, only had 8 players, and 3 would be on the bench while 5 would be on the court. Now, he's got a healthy amount of players over there. He's running about 14 players.
Chris Duckworth picks up his first foul. Ortiz Glaze hits 2 free throws. He's 3 out of 4 from the line tonight. 14-9 is our score with 14:49 left to go in the first quarter. Jonathan Johnson pulls up from 8 feet, no good. Rebound pulled out of there by Ortiz Glaze, and he has it knocked away
traveled
by Duckworth, and we have a whistle.
Yeah, that ball went out of bounds. That's going to be a Kentucky State ball. He traveled and got away with it, Anthony, and then he tried to make a pass there, and Boykin down here in the corner just couldn't hold on to it.
Kentucky State back the other way. Anthony Diggs directing traffic. The Magicians now have come out in a three-quarter press, and they have a pass knocked away by Glaze, and he lays it in for 2. 14-11 on the turnover. Kentucky State looks like they're puzzled when it comes to this trap. Pressing teams don't like to be pressed. Jonathan Johnson for 3 on the left side, and it's good.
Big shot by the senior to turn the momentum around for him. And you're right, Anthony. Pressing teams do not like to be pressed.
Earl Fisher back the other way for the Magicians. Down to Payne. Ball fake up now by Boykin, and he puts it off the glass, and it's good. Kentucky State back the other way. Johnson lays it up, has it knocked away by Middleton. And Kentucky State will retain possession as Carl Hutchinson checks into the ball game. Anthony Diggs will sit down for the Thoroughbred.
Diggs made a freshman mistake, and he's hearing about it over there on the bench from Coach Bennett, and that's you don't pick up your dribble on the press. And right away he picked up his dribble, and they left him alone. He had nowhere to throw it to him.
And Steve Reese is going to be whistled for taking some steps before he put the ball on the floor, and the Thoroughbred's going to turn it over again.
13:54 remaining in the first half. 17-13, Kentucky State University lead.
Here comes Earl Fisher on the attack for the Magicians. Being guarded at the top of the key by Carl Hutchinson. Pass inside to Middleton. He missed the dunk. And they're going to call a technical foul on Rooney Payne of LeMoyne-Owen. They're going to say he grabbed onto the rim and hung on.
Well, it looked like he did, and then
he did.
He stayed up there a little too long. Now, they give you that rule, Anthony,
to
and you know.
protect yourself, right.
To protect yourself and to protect the players below you if you come down on one of them. But he stayed up there a little too long, and he was a little fancy. He didn't try to protect himself. He didn't look below him. He just went up, grabbed the rim, kicked his feet into the air, and came down.
Plus, if you notice, Steve, when he went up, there were 3 purple jerseys around him at the time he went up. So there was no risk of him being injured at all. His own teammates were standing there.
And then you see the coach for LeMoyne-Owen making no argument to the call whatsoever. He's sitting on the bench quietly. He knows what happened.
Everybody in the gym knows it. The technical foul is called on number 32, Rooney Payne. And that also goes as a personal foul, Steve. So that'll be his first.
18-13 the score, 13:43 remaining first half. Officials getting together. One of the officials sees something he doesn't like, and he wants to talk it over or maybe discuss what he wants to make sure is clear from the get-go.
Well, I think they're discussing whether or not they're going to shoot some free throws.
I think they're supposed to if they call that technical foul.
Well, see, in high school, it's whether or not it's a direct or an indirect technical foul.
That was a direct.
Well, it could be a direct. I think he's going to sort it out now as he calls both coaches down. You can still get a technical foul and not have it be a direct technical foul. I don't know. You said he gave him a direct technical, but I think what they're going to do is allow them to put the ball in play. But you're right. There should be at least one free throw shot.
I think the indirect technical foul comes from the fans. If your home fans get a technical foul called on them, they can get a technical foul, and that would be an indirect technical foul because it didn't come from your players or your bench.
Well, the coach can still get an indirect technical foul, and that's where it's going to be directed anyway, even if somebody on his bench says something. But, and that's all left up to the judgment of the official, to be honest with you. But they're going to put it in play. But you're right. I thought they should have been at the free throw line.
In any regard, 18-13 the score. Kentucky State leading LeMoyne-Owen, 13-40.
back the other way. Here goes Steve Reese. Has his pass picked off as he tries to go inside by Middleton. And here come the Magicians. Earl Fisher operating on that right side. Kicks it down to Larry Boykin, who dribbles to the top of the key. Has his pass knocked away. Fisher picks it up. Inside goes Glaze. He lays it up and good. Ortiz Glaze picks up his 7th point of the game. And here come the Thoroughbreds back the other way. The Magicians still in that three-quarter court press. Jason Lewis from the right side from 15 feet, shot up no good. Rebound back up by Chris Duckworth. He lays it off the glass, good.
Go ahead.
20-15 our score.
Kentucky State at 1 point led by 7. It was cut to 3. Now it's back to 5.
Larry Boykin operating on that right side, looks inside, has his pass tipped away. Here comes Kentucky State's Jonathan Johnson, lays it up, no good. Rebound, Rooney Payne. And here come the Magicians. Earl Fisher has his pass picked off by Jason Lewis. Back the other way goes Kentucky State's Carl Hutchinson. Kicks it outside to Reese from 3 on the left side, good.
That's a big shot by your senior, Steve Reese. Kentucky State now gets the biggest lead of the game for them at 8. We have 23-15.
And we have a timeout on the floor with 12:33 left to go in the first half. Kentucky State 23, LeMoyne-Owen 15, back in 30 seconds. Welcome back to the Exum Center. 12:33 left to go in the first half. 23-15 our score. I'm Anthony Ridgeway. He's Steve Tressler. Our producer, Matt King, back in the studios. LeMoyne-Owen puts the ball in play. Kentucky State still in that full court pressure. Samuel Batchelor into the game now, operating from the point. He's trapped at half court. Gets it across the timeline, and we're going to have a pass inside as it was intended for Brian Middleton. He pushed off to get to the ball. He's going to be whistled for the foul. That's going to be his second.
LeMoyne-Owen back at that three-quarters court press.
Back the other way go the Thoroughbreds. Carl Hutchinson from the left side has his pass picked off. And here comes Batchelor. Pulls up at the free throw line, throws his pass inside to Larry Boykin, who stops. Pump moves, lays it up and good.
Kentucky State has trouble holding on to big leads early in the game. They usually come out of the chutes like Thoroughbreds, and they take off, but then towards the end of the race, they get a little tired.
Carl Hutchinson whistled for the personal foul as he pushed off trying to get across the midcourt line. And one of the officials just...
He asked if we saw what happened.
Right. He said he would come over and actually explain it to us.
So no, he was asking us what happened just now.
Oh, I thought he was talking about on the technical foul. Here come the Magicians on the attack. Kentucky State still in that half-court trap defense. Shot up by Glaze, no good. Rebound come out by the Thoroughbreds, Jason Lewis, and here comes Carl Hutchinson, gets away with a travel. Pass at the top of the key, Jason Lewis from three-point range, no good off the back of the rim. Rebound, Middleton. Samuel Batchelor crosses midcourt for the Magicians. Being guarded by Carl Hutchinson. Throws his pass down inside, picked off by Chris Duckworth, and Jason Lewis has possession for Kentucky State.
K-State in that 3-2 zone defense. Duckworth did a great job covering down in his lanes. When the ball goes out to that wing, they're going to go out and trap, and Duck comes down to cover that area, and that's what happened. That's how he got the steal.
Jason Lewis pulls up from 15 feet, shot up no good off the left side. Rebound, LeMoyne-Owen. Back the other way comes Samuel Batchelor. He pushes it, pulls up at the free throw line, no good. Rebound, Kentucky State, Steve Reese. Reese headed down that right side, pulls up into the paint, no good. Actually shot up by Jonathan Johnson, no good. And we're going to have a foul called on the rebound.
That's one thing Coach Bennett gets so upset about with Jonathan Johnson is Jonathan hits three-point shots. He hits 12-foot shots. He can come down and dunk it, but he's had so much trouble putting in tiny stick backs from 2 and 3 feet out.
And you can't miss those gimmies. And you're right, Steve. Wholesale substitutions coming into the game now for Kentucky State as Coach Bennett is starting to empty out that bench more and more. The foul is on Kentucky State's number 44, Chris Duckworth. That's Chris's second.
Hey, Coach!
That's his second foul. 7 for Kentucky State on this half. 3 so far for LeMoyne-Owen. At the free throw line is number 52, Brian Middleton, for the Magicians, and he'll be shooting 2. First free throw is up, and it rattles in. Middleton picks up his first free throw of the night.
At one point just now during this exchange, when Kentucky State was substituting their players in, they only had 4 players in at one point, and I was yelling to Coach Bennett, we only have 4 in there, Coach.
Second free throw by Middleton is up, no good. Rebound pulled out of there by Ortiz Glaze, and he gets it off to Samuel Batchelor at the top of the key. Batchelor being guarded by Hutchinson. They set it up, works it around to the right side. Rooney Payne penetrates, kicks it down inside to Brian Middleton, and he pushes off. And Michael Dupree draws a charge, and it's because Dupree was set up, and he was there, and going to be a foul committed by Middleton.
10:28 remaining in the game. Kentucky State 23-18 lead.
4th foul in the half for the Magicians. On the attack, the Magicians back the other way on the missed shot by Kentucky State. Ball knocked out of bounds. Over here to you and me, Steve.
What's so amazing about that is number 50 that time, Vomo Walker from LeMoyne-Owen, went up for the shot, and he pump faked. Dupree went jumping to block the shot, and Dupree actually kicked the ball with his foot. He was up so high.
But it's the end of the ball game now for Kentucky State, as well as Michael Dupree, who has checked back in, and Jackson as well. Kentucky State's foul on number 32. That's Michael Dupree. That'll be his 3rd, team 8. At the free throw line, Larry Boykin. First free throw airborne, and it's good. 23-18 is our score with 10:18 left to go in the half. And Dupree will leave to go out of the game with those 3 fouls. Brandon Clay checks into the lineup for Kentucky State. 6 foot, 160-pound freshman from Winchester, Kentucky.
You can't afford to have Dupree in foul trouble with just 9 minutes into the game and have 3 fouls. That's ridiculous.
Second shot up by Borkins, no good. Badisa with the rebound.
Kentucky State now with a complete second team in there, with the exception of Jonathan Johnson.
Carl Hutchinson penetrates, shot up from 12 feet, rattles around, good.
And Easton Jackson also a starter in there, but Johnson didn't start tonight, so Kentucky State only has 1 starter in there, as they're going to call a foul on Jackson.
Looks like Jackson, yeah, he reached in as the ball came across midcourt, and he picks up his first foul of the night. Kentucky State has picked up 9 fouls in the first half. Going to the free throw line, Samuel Batchelor, 5'9", 160-pound senior from Memphis, Tennessee.
A lot of those fouls are just the aggressive defense Kentucky State plays, that full court press nonstop.
First free throw by Batchelor is up, and it's good. That's his first points of the ball game. 25-21 is our score. Kentucky State up by 4.
Batchelor's a 61% free throw shooter normally, so I'd say he's going to miss this one. Let's see if the numbers are right.
Jason Lewis set to check back into the game for Kentucky State. Batchelor's second free throw is up, and it's good as Jason Lewis checks back into the game, and Badisa's going to have a seat on the sideline.
So they've cut that 8-point lead down to 3 now.
Kentucky State being met by that pressure from the Magicians. They finally get the ball across midcourt. Brandon Clay operating from the right side, being guarded by Batchelor. Now to the top of the key, on the left side to Johnson. Now into the corner to Carl Hutchinson. Back out to the top of the key. Jackson fires from 3, and it's good.
Jackson, very streaky shooter. He missed 3 in a row, but then he'll come back and hit 6 in a row. You got to let him keep shooting.
Back the other way come the Magicians. Shot up from the left side, no good. Rebounded by Samuel Batchelor, lays it up off the left side, and we're going to have a basket interference called as it laid around the rim, and Ortiz Glaze went up and knocked it in. It was going to actually roll in anyway, but he interfered with it, and the referees waved it off.
Yeah, good call by the official, being very aware of what's going on.
Back the other way goes Jonathan Johnson the other way, and we're going to have a blocking foul called as that pressure continues to intensify for the Magicians.
Now,
and he actually knocked Johnson out of bounds.
What's interesting about that is if we were at LeMoyne-Owen, that could have been a charge call.
Well, you got to give him enough room to operate. You can't just sit under the man without him being allowed to get on his feet. Kentucky State inbounds the ball. Carl Hutchinson at the top of the key, being guarded by Batchelor. Batchelor fouls and gets away with it. On the left side, Johnson penetrates, kicks it back out to Hutchinson. Fires up, no good. Rebound Jackson. Passes inside to Jason Lewis, who lays it up, and it's good.
Great look by Jackson that time. Jackson went up, not even attempting to shoot the ball. He went up to pull the defense towards him and then dump the pass.
Pass stolen by Johnson, and he lays it up, and Kentucky State up by 10 now with 8:47 left to go. And full court pressure gets to Samuel Batchelor, and he actually kicked it out of bounds. The official missed the call, but he's going to give it back to LeMoyne-Owen.
Good job that time by Kentucky State defense. Also a good job by Coach Bennett trying to work the official over there.
But Coach Bennett was actually right on that call because Samuel Batchelor did kick the ball out of bounds.
I think so.
Kentucky State up by 10 now. And we told you that pressure was bothering the Magicians, but it also appears to be bothering Kentucky State when LeMoyne-Owen gets out in their pressure. As I told you earlier, pressing teams do not like to be pressed.
Coach Bennett had on the board tonight before the game with one of several notes was that if this team gets pressed, they will turn the ball over.
At the top of the key, Samuel Batchelor looks inside to Larry Boykin, who lays it off the board, and it's good. 32-24 is our score with 8:33 left to go in the first half. Back the other way, Jason Lewis from the three-point line operating on that left side. Now back on the right side. Carl Hutchinson from three in the corner. No good. Rebound, Ortiz Glaze for LeMoyne-Owen. Long pass down court to Larry Boykin, who pulls up from the free throw line, makes the extra pass inside, bobbled, but retained by the Magicians, lost out of bounds, and LeMoyne-Owen will retain possession.
32-24, Kentucky State, 8-11.
Glaze takes it out for the Magicians, and a reach-in foul is going to be called on Asian Jackson as Glaze tried to penetrate to the basket. We'll pause 10 seconds to allow our stations to identify itself. Welcome back to the Exum Center. That's Jackson's second foul. At the free throw line is number 32, Rooney Payne. I'm Anthony Ridgeway, the voice of the Thorobreds, along with Steve Tressler and Matt King, our producer, back in the studio. LeMoyne-Owen and Kentucky State doing battle here tonight at the Exum Center on the campus of Kentucky State University. We'll be here all week, Steve, for all the next games here at home.
8:08 remaining, 32-25 your score.
Second shot up by Payne, no good. Rebound pulled out of there by Marlon West, who has checked into the lineup for Kentucky State. And back the other way go the Thoroughbreds. Jason Lewis operating from the right side. Back out to the top of the key. That's Brandon Clay on the left side now to Steve Reese. Reese dribbling around the right side of the floor around the three-point range. Kicks it inside to Lewis. Lewis looks, has it knocked away. Carl Hutchinson, ball fakes. Reese from deep in the corner, three-point range, no good. Rebound, Jason Lewis, and we have a whistle called under the basket.
Yeah, they're going to call number 42 with body that time against LeMoyne-Owen. That was Ortiz Glaze.
That'll be Glaze's third foul, if my math is, well, they changed it, Steve. Actually, they're going to call it on number 50, Vomo Walker.
Yeah, that's going to be his first foul. Now, Marlon West in the game for Kentucky State. He's a transfer from Oakland, California.
Kentucky State on the attack now. Carl Hutchinson, three-point range on the left side. Rebound, no good off that far rim. West with the rebound. Down inside to Carl Hutchinson on that left side. Shot up, no good. West with another rebound. He's fighting for it, and he gets a lot of cheers from the crowd. Back inside to Hutchinson, who kicks it out to Reese from three-point range. No good. Here comes Rooney Payne for the Magicians. He sets it up. Samuel Batchelor being guarded by Steve Reese. Kentucky State still in that man-to-man defense. Looking inside now, Vomo Walker, and we have a foul called in the post area.
Yeah, they're going to call that on Brandon Clay, the freshman from Winchester, Kentucky. Clay getting all that he can handle from Rooney Payne, who's all over the floor. Payne's a lot quicker than Clay, but
he's a lot bigger too, Steve.
Yeah, Clay has to stay with him somehow, and he got his arm wrapped around him that time. But the bad part about this is LeMoyne-Owen's in the bonus, so that foul there is going to put him at the free throw line.
Brandon Clay's first foul, and LeMoyne-Owen will be in the double bonus for the rest of the half. Rooney Payne at the free throw line for the Magicians. First shot rattles around, no good. As Anthony Diggs comes back into the ball game for Kentucky State, he'll replace Carl Hutchinson. Brandon Clay, we just told you, is outmatched completely by Rooney Payne. Payne is 6'3", 180. He's a junior from Racine, Wisconsin. And, of course, Brandon Clay is only a freshman. He's 6 foot, 160 pounds.
And I think 6 foot is generous for him.
I think it's being terribly generous. Payne's second free throw is up, and it's good. 32-26 is our score with 6:54 left to go in the half. Kentucky State on top by 6. And we have another substitution in the game. Michael Dupree with those 3 fouls going to check back into the ball game. What a risky move by Coach Bennett. Glaze inbounds the ball for the Magicians. Out to the top of the key is Samuel Batchelor. Kentucky State in a man-to-man defense. Inside to Vomo Walker, who kicks it back out to Batchelor. Batchelor being guarded by Clay. Inside pass knocked away, and there's a turnover for Kentucky State as that, again, that pressure defense caused another turnover by the Magicians.
Well, Dupree comes back into the game replacing Diggs because Diggs couldn't handle the inbounds pass from Jason Lewis right off the bat, and Coach Bennett wasting no time. He had just put Diggs back into the game but said, look, if you can't handle the inbounds pass, you're not going to handle the pressure. Have a seat, freshman.
Michael Dupree bringing it up for Kentucky State. Kicks it inside to West, and he's going to be guilty of traveling. I thought they were going to miss it at first, but they caught it, and he did travel. Another turnover for the Thorobreds. Samuel Batchelor crosses midcourt for LeMoyne-Owen. He's met by Michael Dupree of Kentucky State. At the top of the key is Ortiz Glaze, and he has it knocked away, and if that's a foul, Michael Dupree was in the vicinity. You just don't want to see that. Brandon Clay picks up the foul. That'll be his first.
Getting ready to put.
Or are they going to call it on Brandon Clay? No, they're going to call it on LeMoyne-Owen.
Looks like they're sending Clay to the line. It's going to be calling number 42.
Okay, they were late getting it up because they don't have a number 34 on the floor.
You were right initially. But in any regard, Brandon Clay going to the line now to shoot.
Foul is on Ortiz Glaze. That'll be his second foul, team 7th. At the free throw line is Brandon Clay. His first free throw is airborne, and it's good. 33-26 is our score. Kentucky State on top with 6:18 left to go in the first half. Clay's second free throw. Good form, airborne, and it's good.
Kentucky State now leads by 8, 6:17 remaining.
2 free throws for Clay. Samuel Batchelor, the point guard from Memphis. Off to Boykin, who looks inside and has it knocked away. Kentucky State with that swarming defense. Into the corner now is Samuel. Back out to the top of the key is Ortiz Glaze. Takes it from 3-point range. Rebound controlled by the Magicians. Kentucky State had it knocked away. And Batchelor's going to set it up. He's being guarded by Dupree. Dupree with those 3 first-half fouls still in the game. Pass inside for LeMoyne-Owen, and we're going to have a foul call because, you know, the ball went inside to Vomo Walker, and he pushed off twice, and the official finally caught it.
He rammed into him with his shoulder both times, and the official down here closest to us who has eyes on it didn't call a thing.
Well, maybe he needs glasses, but we won't get into that. Michael Dupree back the other way, and we're going to have a kick ball by Larry Boykin.
Kentucky State leads by 8, 34-26, 5:35 remaining.
Small crowd on hand here tonight, Steve.
Especially for the type of game that it is. But it's a Tuesday night. We're competing with another game here locally.
Michael Dupree for the Thorobreds being picked up as he crosses mid-floor. And we're going to have a whistle back the other way, and it's going to go against Kentucky State, and the official is chewing somebody out on the floor, and he stuck somebody. And looks like this Marlon West is going to get the technical foul. He said something on the way by, and the official said something. I mean, he said something, and the official didn't say a word. He just immediately stuck him. So what happens here is he picks up the personal foul, and then the technical foul also counts as a personal foul. So he's going to get 2 fouls here.
Within a matter of seconds.
Yes. You hear Coach Bennett shouting out instructions to the bench.
Now, he was shouting out, turnovers are killing us.
At the free throw line, Larry Boykin to shoot for the Magicians. First free throw is up, it rattles around and falls in. Boykin's 2 out of 4 from the free throw line tonight. He certainly takes enough time between free throws. The second shot is up, and it is also good. Now, what that does is gives LeMoyne-Owen the ball back.
And they've already cut the lead with those 2 free throws from 10 to 8 with the shot, and then to 6 now with both the free throws. So they have a chance realistically to get the game within 3 points.
Now, on the foul that was called against West, Samuel Batchelor was in possession of the ball, so he'll have the opportunity
with a
to shoot right at the free throw line. Batchelor's first free throw is up, and it's good. Actually, it'd be 2 free throws because they're in the double bonus. 34-29, 5:29 left to go in the first half. Kentucky State on top. Samuel Batchelor shooting the free throws. We've had a technical foul call against Marlon West. That's the second technical of the night. The first one called on the Magicians. The second free throw by Batchelor is up, no good. Rebound, Jason Lewis. Kentucky State controls. Michael Dupree being guarded by Batchelor, operating on the left side of the floor. Penetrates inside, lays it up off the glass, rolls off the right side, no good.
You heard the crowd just now. They went, woo, because Dupree absolutely left his man that time, and that looked like Batchelor. And Batchelor is probably a little quicker than Dupree, but Dupree is just lightning. Batchelor's 5'9", 160. Dupree's a lot bigger, but got right by him with one quick step.
Now the foul is called on Vomo Walker of the Magicians. That's his 3rd, team 9th. We've been plagued with a lot of fouls here in the first half.
Yeah, that's great, though, to get Vomo in trouble. He's a 6'6", 220-pound sophomore from Memphis, Tennessee. He's their center, and you get him in foul trouble, and you take away a lot of the rebounding that they're used to, Anthony.
And I think he's bigger than 220 also, Steve.
Yeah, they're being a little easy on him with the weight, but he's not a fat guy. He looks like he's in great shape.
He's pretty much cut. Doesn't look like he has much body fat on him. And we have substitutions back into the game for Kentucky State as Brandon Clay will come out.
Now, Glaze,
it looks like Jonathan Johnson will check back into the game.
Now, Glaze is their leading scorer and rebounder, but then right behind him is Ronnie Payne and Vomo Walker.
And Dupree's second free throw is up, and it's good. 36-29 our score. LeMoyne-Owen back the other way. Kentucky State on top. Kentucky State still in that full court pressure. Samuel Batchelor finally gets it across. Shot up from 3 by Larry Boykin, no good. Rebound controlled by Kentucky State Steve Reese. Long pass ahead, Jonathan Johnson lays it up. Oh, no good. It was going to roll off.
Chris Duckworth went up.
And Duckworth went up and touched it. And Coach Bennett he's gritting his teeth. But that ball was not going to go in, and Johnson knew it.
Yeah, he's livid right now because he didn't want Duckworth to touch that. But you can't blame Duckworth.
It was tempting as the devil. You had to go up and try something. Batchelor picks up the foul. That's his first. It was so tempting, Steve. Even I wanted to try and touch it and knock it in.
And there's no way you could have because you're really short and heavy.
I used to dunk a basketball, my friend. Jonathan Johnson's first free throw is up. It's good. The second free throw is up, and it's no good. We have a foul called on the play.
It's been a lane violation, it looks like. Actually, they're going to call a foul. And they're going to send Michael Dupree to the line now. So Kentucky State leading 37-29, 4:49 remaining for first half.
Larry Boykin pushed off on the rebound. There was a long rebound, and he pushed off. That'll send Dupree to the free throw line. He misses the first one as Anthony Diggs is set to check in for the Thorobreds.
And he's checking in for the shooter, so they're going to have to hold him up.
They're going to get Dupree out of the game, which is not a bad move.
No,
second free throw is up, and it's good. Yeah. In fact, I wouldn't have even had him back into the game. I was actually surprised to see him come back off the bench.
In this half?
Yeah.
Well, this is the time for Kentucky State to capitalize because the 2 biggest rebounders for LeMoyne-Owen are on the bench right now. Their 2 scorers are on the bench right now.
That Kentucky State pressure, again, bothering the Magicians. Larry Boykin turns it over, and Kentucky State will control. Taking it out of bounds is Jonathan Johnson on that far sideline, right in front of that Kentucky State crowd.
But this is the time for Kentucky State to take control, Anthony. Like I just got done saying, their leading scorer and their leading rebounder, both leading scorers and both leading rebounders are on the bench.
Diggs at the top of the key. Bad pass controlled by Kentucky State. And Chris Duckworth is going to be fouled by Rooney Payne, who was trying to come up with that loose ball. Duckworth actually had better position. 2 fouls on Payne. And both teams in the double bonus now. Duckworth at the free throw line. Shooting 2, the first one's up, no good off the back of the rim. As Cedric Walker, 6'2" junior from Memphis, Tennessee, checks into the ball game for the LeMoyne-Owen Magicians.
That's a mouthful, LeMoyne-Owen Magicians.
Sounds like I have peanut butter in my mouth. Second free throw, Duckworth up, good. One free throw for Duckworth, 39-29 our score, 4:33. Kentucky State still in full court pressure. LeMoyne-Owen moving from right to left on your radio dial. Finally gets it down to Boykin into the paint area. Shot up over Jason Lewis, and it's good.
They made that look too easy. Diggs
11 points into the game now for Boykin. Kentucky State back the other way. Steve Reese sets up on the right side from three-point range. Fires it up, no good. Rebound controlled by the Magicians. Samuel Batchelor on the attack. Cut off by Diggs. Kicks it out to Boykin. Steps inside the three-point line. Fires it up. Knocked it down.
I'll tell you who's going to come into the game. Steve Reese is going to come out of the game right now, and Hutchinson's going to come in, because one thing Coach Bennett talked about all week was, I don't want you coming down and off the first pass taking a shot. You don't take a shot from the first pass unless it's a layup, and Reese came down, shot a three-pointer right away, and immediately Coach Bennett turned around, told Hutchinson to get in the game.
Well, you know, I noticed at the beginning of the game, Kentucky State was making more crib shots and was getting better shots, but I thought it was because they were making the extra pass. They've gotten away from that. Consequently, the lead has been closed to 6 points.
And where it stood at one point at 10.
Exactly.
Well, at any regard, Kentucky State leading 39-33 here, first half, 3 minutes, 53 seconds remaining.
Chris Duckworth set to take the ball out for the Thorobreds as they're holding to a narrow 6-point lead.
In fact, Reese did come out. Hutchinson did replace him.
Michael Dupree back into the game with those 3 fouls, being guarded by Samuel Batchelor. LeMoyne-Owen still in that man-to-man defense. And a shot up by Michael Dupree. And I tell you, these Magicians cannot stay off the backboard and the rim. Another basket interference call. You can give Michael Dupree credit for another basket.
Well, just now, Coach Bennett wasn't even looking at that. He was talking with Steve Reese over here on the sidelines, and he wasn't even able to see that, but he would have been upset because he does not want a shot immediately off the press breaker.
LeMoyne-Owen back the other way. Trevor Frazier picks up his first 2 of the game.
And Dupree was lucky that player touched it because that wasn't going in.
Jonathan Johnson back the other way for Kentucky State. Penetrates inside, up off the glass on the left side. No good as it rolls off the front of the rim. Foul called on LeMoyne-Owen, number 45, Trevor Frazier, who just checked into the ball game. That's his first. That will send Jonathan Johnson to the free throw line to shoot 2 free throws. First free throw by Johnson is up, and it's good. He's 2 out of 3 from the free throw line tonight. Second free throw is up, and it's good. And here come the Magicians back the other way. Larry Boykin, Kentucky State in that full court pressure. Boykin in the paint area now. Pulls up, shot rolls off the right side.
Oh, that was right over the back of Chris
Duckworth. By
Duckworth.
Cedric Walker. Walker with his first 2 in the game. And Steve, you're right, that wasn't over the back.
That was a terrible no call by the official to not call anything on that.
Michael Dupree tried to get a little fancy and lost the ball.
This official on our side of the floor making these calls, I'm sorry, has been awful. He just called an over and back call that time on Michael Dupree when there was a scramble for the ball and there was no possession. And down on this end, he was underneath, and he called the no call over Chris Duckworth's back.
The reason why you got the over and back call is because Dupree was in the front court when the ball rolled off his foot. He went into the back court and got it. You can't do it. We have a foul called against Kentucky State back the other way. I'm sorry, LeMoyne-Owen back the other way. And that's going to be against number 22, Larry Boykin. That's going to be his 3rd. Kentucky State puts the ball in play. Jonathan Johnson operating on the left side, being guarded by Larry Boykin. Operating from the top of the key. Off the left side now to Chris Duckworth. Now on the right side to Jonathan Johnson. Back at the top of the key to Duckworth, who penetrates inside, kicks it back out to Hutchinson. And Jason Lewis takes it at the top of the key. They're going to set it up. Lewis looking. Gives off to Hutchinson on the left side, back towards the top of the key. Cross court to Jonathan Johnson, who has his pocket pick, but he comes up with the ball.
Shot clock
to shoot on the shot clock. Johnson, extra pass inside to Dupree, no good. Dupree gets his own rebound, and he's going to be called, I think, for the foul over the back.
Well, you have to admire that pass from Jonathan Johnson, but I think as a coach, you want him to take the shot. He went straight up in the middle of the lane, nobody on him, and he dumps the ball down. If you're up that high in the middle of the lane, you go ahead and you shoot that.
I thought he should have shot it anyway. In fact, I thought he had the easier shot.
Absolutely. He's only 7 feet away from the basket.
The foul is on Anthony Savage of LeMoyne-Owen. That's his first, and that'll send Michael Dupree to the free throw line.
Giving big Jason Lewis a rest by bringing Marlon West in, the transfer from Oakland, California.
Lewis has been really quiet tonight.
Lewis quietly doing his job. He's probably got about 6 or 7 rebounds and 6 or 7 points.
Dupree's second shot up is good. 45-37 is our score. 2:13 left to go in the half. Kentucky State on top. LeMoyne-Owen on the attack. Back the other way. In control of the ball is Anthony Savage, and we're going to have a whistle blown. And there's another turnover, and Kentucky State will take over again. You've heard me say it a million times. They're playing that mother-in-law defense. They just nag you, nag you, nag you, nag you, nag you.
Yeah, and as an official, it's tough to make every single one of those calls, so you do end up letting a few go, and that works in Kentucky State's favor. Dupree
inside, and he's going to make the extra pass inside to Marlon West, and they're going to say he backed his way in. West is going to be called for an offensive foul. That'll be his third.
See, that's why I think he's such at a disadvantage, like a lot of big guys, is they can do the littlest thing, get called for a foul, and then they can get hammered, but because they don't move as much as the little guy, there's a no call.
West could have easily picked up his fourth then, but he didn't. And we have a out-of-bounds call, and they're going to say that Cedric Walker was out of bounds. Kentucky State will have possession of the basketball.
1:41 remaining in the first half. Kentucky State leads by 8, 45-37.
Jackson set the inbounds the ball for the Thorobreds. LeMoyne-Owen picks up an easy three-quarter court press. Carl Hutchinson trapped on the right side of the floor, gets it off to Jackson. Jackson operating from the top of the key. To the left side now, Jonathan Johnson from 19 feet. Good.
You're going to say it's a two-pointer. Split was on the line.
Yeah. Back the other way, Samuel Batchelor kicks it off to Errol Fisher in the corner. No good. Rebound, Chris Duckworth for Kentucky State. Duck on the attack. Gives off to Dupree. Johnson on the left side. Goes up. He was fouled. No call. Back the other way comes Earl Fisher for LeMoyne-Owen. Pass interrupted by Michael Dupree. Shot blocked from behind.
Jonathan
Johnson. Right over here in front of us, and the crowd likes it.
I couldn't believe the no call on the three-point shot by Johnson.
Oh, we could see he got mugged from here.
That's terrible.
Savage inbounds the ball for LeMoyne-Owen. Gives off to Samuel Batchelor. He sets up at the top of the key.
Batchelor wanted to shoot, but he was hounded by that defense.
55 seconds left to go in the first half. Shot up. LeMoyne-Owen, no good. Rebound controlled by the Magicians. Cedric Walker lost it out of bounds. And they're going to say that the ball belongs to the Magicians.
Again, a terrible call. They're not on top of this game.
Walker even looked at me. He heard me. He saw he hurt me. He knew he knocked it out of bounds.
A couple of the LeMoyne-Owen players headed for the other way, knowing it was out on them, but still got the ball back.
Samuel Batchelor off in the corner now to Walker. Shot up no good. Chris Duckworth knocks it out of bounds back here towards
And they
us.
give it to Kentucky State.
And then the ball was out of bounds by Kentucky State. They give it back to them.
There's a lot of fans up here smiling because they know that it was a terrible call too that time. But hey, that's okay. You lose one, you get one. That's
Michael
okay.
Dupree back the other way. Chris Hutchinson from the corner, no good. Long rebound controlled by LeMoyne-Owen. Here comes Earl Fisher. Cedric Walker from the corner. Back out to the top of the key to Fisher. Inside to the paint area now on the right side. Shot up, no good. Rebound to Cian Jackson. Hutchinson back down the other way. Pass picked off by Samuel Batchelor. 10 seconds left to go in the half. Earl Fisher penetrates, sets up.
5 seconds left.
Take it for one last shot. Pulls up, and he's going to be tied up by Cian Jackson. And they're going to whistle Jackson for a foul.
Just as he committed that foul, he turned around, and there's Coach Bennett. Coach Bennett says, look at the clock, E. Look at the clock. He fouled him with 2.1 seconds and a 10-point lead. You don't do that.
I was going to say, and they're up by 10.
And that puts Jackson, one of your starters, into foul trouble now. He's got 3 fouls.
You're right.
He picks up one right there at the end. That's not smart ball playing.
Earl Fisher at the free throw line.
And Jackson's a smart player, too. He knows better than that. And he knows it as he goes over to the bench right now. He knows it.
And we have a timeout on the floor
Coach Bennett's going to take 20.
A 20-second timeout. We'll take one with him. You're listening to KSU Sports on the KSU Sports Network. Back in 30 seconds.
Well, the reason we got together is because...
With 2.1 seconds left to go in the first half, I'm Anthony Ridgeway. He's Steve Tressler. Matt King is our producer back in the studio. 47-38 is our score. Kentucky State on top of LeMoyne-Owen. And we just got a clarification from the official on the gathering that they had at the start of the game.
The one official that's doing a good job out there that we can see. Actually, there's two of them that are doing a great job. It's just the one official has made 3 no calls and a couple bad calls going in, as far as possession.
Earl Fisher's free throw is up, and it's good. And Kentucky State gets it back the other way. Dupree tried to get the long shot to go from half court. No good. And the first half comes to an end. 47-39 is our score. Kentucky State on top. Back in 30 seconds. You got that interview ready?
Yeah, but I'll play it after the interview baseball. I'll play it after the interview baseball, Coach.
I'm going to hit. That's all right. That's okay.
Hi, I'm Winston Bennett, former University of Kentucky basketball player and assistant coach. Now I'm the head men's basketball coach at Kentucky State University. I want to take a moment and invite you to come to our beautiful campus to watch the Thorobreds play this season. Our style of play will be very exciting and will keep you jumping out of your seat. So don't miss a moment of Thoroughbred basketball as we attempt to restore the glory.
Michael Dupree now in the game as point. He has 3 fouls. Johnson, Duckworth, Lewis, and Reese fill out the rest of the team. Kentucky State shot no good by Lewis. Tries to get his own rebound, can't get it. Now Steve Reese passes down to Michael Dupree. Dupree up off the glass, shot's good. Kentucky State now leads by 10, 49-39. Kentucky State in a full court trap here. LeMoyne-Owen able to break it. Down the other end, that's Earl Fisher. He drives the lane, kicks it out to the side there. Pump fake by number 22 of LeMoyne-Owen. That's Boykin. Shot's no good. Rebound, Kentucky State. It goes out of bounds.
Nothing fancy at all by either team. They're just setting it up, firing it up. Of course, they're laying bricks right now, but they'll get going here before it gets too late.
Kentucky State came out with about 4 minutes remaining before the second half started. LeMoyne-Owen did not come out until the second half started, so they were probably getting a good stern talking to in there that took the whole time.
I got a feeling it's a little bit more than a talking to, Steve.
And you can already see they've come out with a little bit more fire with their ball rotation.
You're right.
Shot that time by number 42, Ortez Glaze, and he's called for a charge. I don't know if I agree with that call, and that's going to be his 4th foul, though. I don't know if I agree with that call, Anthony.
I'm sorry, that was his 3rd foul, Steve. I'm sorry.
Third foul call on Ortez Glaze, leading scorer and leading rebounder for this team, so they can ill afford to put him back on the bench. Michael Dupree now breaks the press, gives it up to Duckworth. Duckworth over now to Reese. Reese on the side. Quick pass up top to Johnson and back over to Duckworth. Duckworth looking for Lewis, can't find him. Johnson now, middle lane, passes over to Reese. Knocked out of bounds by LeMoyne-Owen from behind.
We've had more balls knocked over out of bounds here at this area tonight than we have all year.
Well, they're aiming for us. Johnson now with the inbounds pass over to Chris Duckworth. Duckworth out to Reese. They dump it inside to Lewis. Lewis powers his way up.
He did. He traveled. He shuffled his feet.
And they called him for the travel. No argument from Coach Bennett that time.
Kentucky State fans didn't like the call, but I'm watching Jason Lewis's feet, and that official's right. He traveled.
Kentucky State now to 3-quarter trap. They cover 3/4 of the floor and put on a press. LeMoyne-Owen breaks it down about 13 seconds. Pass inside, down underneath, number 52 for LeMoyne-Owen. That's Brian Middleton. He goes up. He's a senior from Chicago, Illinois. His shot is blocked and knocked out of bounds. That's going to remain a LeMoyne-Owen ball. Ortez Glaze will take the pass. He passes back in now to Middleton. It's knocked away by Kentucky State. And Steve Reese scrambling for it over there with Middleton. He doesn't come up with it. And they're going to call the foul on Ortez Glaze. That's his 4th foul.
If they give it to him, it is. And
they didn't, though. They give it to Brian Middleton that time.
And that's his 4th.
That's fine also, yeah.
He's the starting center.
Now Kentucky State the other way with a 10-point lead, 18-12 remaining. Steve Reese dribbles down, passes to Dupree. Dupree with a return pass to Reese as he cuts to the basket. Shot off the glass, no good. Rebound going the other way from LeMoyne-Owen. That's number 32 driving the lane for Owen. Shots up and in. That's Rooney Payne at the other end of the floor. 49-41, Kentucky State. Johnson now on the wing. Over to Lewis, top of the key. Lewis, quick pass to Dupree, cuts through the lane. Back out on the wing. Spin move, goes to the hole.
Good scoop move.
Shot up, no good. No foul call. Gets his own rebound and a foul called on the rebound.
Samuel Batchelor picks up the foul. That'll be his second.
No, they're going to call that on number 52.
Oh, did they?
And I think he's out of the game.
Did they? Oh, that, and he's been the good official, but he was wrong on that one. Samuel Batchelor, the little 5'9" point guard, he had Michael Dupree in a chokehold. The official just didn't see it.
Middleton goes out of the game, and that's 5 fouls for him in a hurry.
What a terrible break for Brian Middleton because he was not guilty.
Yeah, he had 3 fouls coming in the second half. Within 2.5 minutes, less than, he's out of the game. In any regards, Kentucky State ball. Johnson calls for the play, kicks it out to Reese. Reese, pump fake, no good, dumps it inside to Lewis.
Lewis traveled again, got away with it.
Lewis over to Johnson. Johnson tries to get it back to Lewis. It's knocked out of bounds. Kentucky State ball.
Now, I want to back up and explain something to you when we get a chance on the technical foul that was called earlier against Marlon West.
Inbounds pass to Reese. He's going to shoot the three-point shot. No good. Rebound, Glaze, LeMoyne-Owen, and he'll bring it down the floor himself. He kicks it up to Fisher. Fisher now reverses the ball over to Batchelor. Batchelor down to Payne. Payne drives, kicks it back out, nowhere to go. Glaze with the ball now. Glaze tries to make a pass over to number 32, Rooney Payne. He scoops it up. They're going to have to say that somebody else touched it. Batchelor kicks it back out to Glaze. Glaze from about 12 feet out. No good. Rebound, Lewis of Kentucky State. And now Reese will bring the ball down the floor. Reese over to Johnson. Johnson kicks it over to Dupree. Dupree takes a step inside the three-point range. Off the glass, no good. Rebound, Chris Duckworth up and in. Kentucky State leads by 10, 16:45 remaining.
Both teams look a little sloppy here in the early going.
Fisher now breaks the press for LeMoyne-Owen. Brings it down left side of the floor, kicks a pass over to Glaze. Glaze goes up for the shot, no good. Rebound, gets his shot back up and in. Coming the other way now for Kentucky State. Michael Dupree with the ball. Quick pass over to Lewis. Lewis looking inside, trying to find Johnson. Johnson backing his man down, nowhere to go. Duckworth with the ball, kicks it out to Johnson, who's on the wing now. Ball tapped into Lewis by Reese. Lewis spins and shoots, and it's going to be good. Again, Kentucky State holds on to that 10-point lead, 16-12 remaining.
Jason Lewis just powering inside.
And he's going to be called for a foul reaching in right now.
He has 8 points into the game. Jason Lewis picks up his second foul of the game.
That's not a shooting foul. They should get the ball over on the sideline.
Player control.
Yeah, Batchelor thought it was going to be a shooting foul. He was waiting on it. And now inbounds pass goes to Batchelor. They reverse it around. That's Glaze. Glaze kicks it back over to Fisher. Fisher drives, shoots, no good. Rebound, Chris Duckworth, Kentucky State. Duckworth brings it down right side of the floor. Quick move, gives it up to Lewis. Lewis wanted to dump it back into Duckworth. Duck wasn't looking. Back out to Johnson now from three-point range. Johnson no good. Coach Bennett screaming for them to get it back on the boards. He said rebound. Kentucky State now, the other end of the floor in a 2-3 defense. Almost a 2-1-2 looking defense. Batchelor passes. Fisher over to Glaze. Glaze dumps it inside, stolen away by Kentucky State. Jonathan Johnson coming up the floor, and they're going to call an official timeout as Michael Dupree goes down. And
he's favoring that right leg.
Yeah, it looks like maybe that knee is giving him some trouble.
Actually, I said right. He's limping on the left one. Bodisa's coming back into the lineup for Kentucky State. Jason Lewis going out. I think he's going to try and walk it off, Tress.
He got knocked over that time, so hopefully he's going to be okay as they're going to send Diggs into the game at the first chance to get him out of there. In any case, 15-18 remaining in the game. Kentucky State leads by 10, 53-43. Here's Jonathan Johnson now, dribbles left side. Quick pass to Dupree down on the baseline. Short corner pass over to Nabil Badisa. Badisa can't handle it. Johnson called for the over and back. It wasn't his fault, though. Badisa couldn't handle the pass. It went across half court, and Johnson just saved Kentucky State from an easy layup.
Kentucky State maintaining that 10-point lead, but they still look, both teams look a little sloppy when it comes to ball handling.
And that's one thing that Coach Bennett has been stressing to these guys is their carelessness. You can't be careless with the ball, and both teams look a little careless here tonight. Kentucky State plays this way down at LeMoyne-Owen. I can guarantee you that LeMoyne-Owen's coach will not have them playing with this kind of sloppy attitude against Kentucky State at home. Now LeMoyne-Owen with the ball. At the other end of the floor, Glaze has it in the corner, kicks it out to Batchelor. Batchelor, cross-court pass. That's Walker. He dumps it down inside to Glaze. Back out to Batchelor. Batchelor fakes a three-point shot. Gives it to number 32. That's Payne. He shoots the three. No good. Rebound by LeMoyne-Owen. Shot put back up and in by Cedric Walker for LeMoyne-Owen. Diggs brings the ball down the floor. Diggs, the freshman from Columbus, Ohio, drives, pulls up from 15. Basket's good. Great shot by Diggs. Well under control that time.
First 2 points in the game for Diggs.
They're going to call the foul at the other end of the floor on Kentucky State's Badisa, saying that he was blocking on Rooney Payne. As Payne went straight to the hole, laid it up and in. They're going to say the basket counts, Anthony.
Substitutions back into the game for Kentucky State as number 44, Chris Duckworth, comes out of the ball game. And he replaces number 30.
30's in.
Back the other way comes Anthony Diggs for Kentucky State. Diggs pulls up, kicks it off into the corner to Steve Reese, and Reese has it knocked away, and they're going to say Kentucky State has possession.
Yeah, Robert Pinson came into the game for Kentucky State, number 30. Beavers comes back into the game. He started. And now Kentucky State ball. They lead by 8, 14:08 remaining. Pass in to Reese. Reese over on the wing, couple quick moves. Wants to get inside of Badisa, does. Badisa turns, shoots. Shot's no good. Rebound by Beavers, up off the glass.
Too hard.
No good. Kentucky State trying to box out, can't do it. And LeMoyne-Owen with the rebound, but they're going to say he stepped out of bounds.
Ortiz Clace was good and out of bounds when he got that ball.
That's going to be Kentucky State ball.
He was more than a foot and a half out of bounds when he got the ball.
13:56 remaining in the game. 55-47, Kentucky State University leads. Checking back into the game now is Brandon Clay for Kentucky State from Winchester, Kentucky. He replaces senior Steve Reese. Kentucky State will have the ball inbounded by Thomas Beavers.
These officials are doing a good job of talking to the players on the floor. I've noticed that.
Letting them know what's going on.
Yeah.
Brandon Clay drives to the hole on the inbounds pass right away. Shot no good. Fight for the rebound. Glaze comes up with it, double dribbles, and they're going to call it.
Excellent call.
He picked up his dribble to pass, but his buddy wasn't looking there, and as it turns out, he put the ball back down on the floor.
We found out why Brandon West picked up that technical foul in the first half. One of the officials came over.
Said he bumped into him.
He said he bumped him.
Yeah.
And I told him I was an official and kid bumped me on the floor, he's automatically ejected. He said he felt the same way, especially as small as he is.
Yeah.
But they gave West the benefit of the doubt because they didn't know if it was intentional or not.
Diggs drives to the basket at the other end of the floor, and he is just clobbered by Batchelor and by number 32, Rooney Payne. And Diggs picks up his arm, both of his ears, and his other hand.
Yeah, that looked like 1st and 10. He actually looked like Jonathan Harris.
I think guys have done time for less than that. In any case, number 40 will check into the game. That's Anthony Savage. He'll be replacing Ortiz Glaze.
That's the 3rd foul on Rooney Payne.
Payne now with 3 fouls. Here's Clay over to Diggs. Diggs from three-point range. Shots up, good.
The basket is good, but there's a push-off under the basket. So what they'll do is count the three-point basket, and then Kentucky State will be guilty of the push-off foul under the basket. LeMoyne-Owen will have the ball out of bounds.
That's not very costly, though, because that goes on Robert Pence, and that's his first foul. And Diggs gets credit for the three-point shot. So that's okay, because what it does is it gives Kentucky State time to set up their press.
It actually worked against the Magicians.
So now LeMoyne-Owen breaking the press from Kentucky State. Kentucky State with a very young lineup out there. Junior on the floor is Robert Pence, and other than that, everybody else is freshmen on the floor.
Incidentally, we haven't seen Jonathan Harris tonight.
Yeah, Harris, the senior, or the sophomore quarterback, had a great football season this year. And Coach Smith, the new football coach, was very excited as we talked earlier today about Jonathan Harris.
Nor have we seen Brady Bob.
Diggs drives straight to the hole on the press breaker. Rebound, Nabil Badisa. Badisa really got up for that. Pinson now for 3.
Rebound.
Shot, no good. Rebound. LeMoyne-Owen this time. Badisa not able to get it. Walker kicks it out. It's going down the other end. Batchelor has control of the ball now for Owen. He looks down, picks up his dribble. He's trapped. Passes out to number 40. That's Savage. He'll drive around the right side. Shot up, no good. Rebound Owen. And now they're going to call a foul on Robert Pinson this time and saying that he pushed off, and that's going to be his second.
And Pinson is looking back at the official, but I could clearly see he did. You know, a lot of guys get under the basket when the ball goes up, and they don't really realize that they push the person in front of them out of the way.
Just a natural reaction.
Exactly.
Try to get better position. Kentucky State leads by 11, 58-47, 12:44 remaining. LeMoyne-Owen passing the ball around, trying to come up with a good shot. That defense by Kentucky State swarming. Pass goes inside. That's number 32. He's going to spin and shoot. Shot no good by Rooney Payne. And right away, Pinson gets his third foul in as many minutes. Now they're going to put Marlon West back into the game for Kentucky State University and replace Pinson here. 12:31 remaining. Kentucky State 58, LeMoyne-Owen 47. You're listening to News Radio 104.9 WKYW and Kentucky State University Sports. Blade Production Company producing the game for Cable Channel 10. You can see the game Friday at 8:30. We were able to talk to the band before the game quite a bit today, and the band looked really ready to go. A drum major, Michael Simpson, got a chance to talk with him. Very nice young man, very polished young man, well-mannered, as you would hope for the drum major of your band.
Pinson comes out of the game with those 3 fouls, Steve.
Yeah, Rooney Payne is going to convert on both free throws. Kentucky State leads by 9, 12:30 remaining. Diggs comes down, other end of the floor. Stutter step, drives the lane, kicks it out to Beavers. Beavers has trouble handling it, and he's going after his pass, and he is going to be called for the foul as he couldn't control it.
And that's why he got the foul, because he was out of control. He turned the ball over, but he made the mistake and dived out on the floor after the ball. But the problem was the LeMoyne-Owen man had already picked up the ball.
Yeah, Diggs and Beavers made the mistake that time. And right away, he goes straight to the bench and gets his seniors.
Wholesale substitutions for Kentucky State.
Yeah, 4 in, 4 out, as now the lineup is going to be Diggs, the freshman, Reese, Lewis, Johnson, Duckworth, all seniors. Kentucky State in a 3-2 trapping defense. They're trapping down on the corners. Pass goes out of bounds by LeMoyne-Owen, so the defense pays off as Kentucky State will get the ball coming back this way now, Anthony.
And LeMoyne-Owen back in that back in that press. Remember, I told you pressing teams don't like to be pressed. We'll see how the Thorobreds handle it now.
Johnson gets ripped, but Duckworth able to come up with it as they fouled. Duckworth now coming across half court. He's holding his chin as he got punched in the chin there inadvertently by an Owen player.
But they're going to call a foul against the Thorobreds. That's why you heard that loud moan in the background.
Now Duckworth is going to go to the line. Kentucky State leads 58-49, 11:59 remaining in the game. First foul called. Or second foul called on number 20, Batchelor, as he's called for the foul. Chris Duckworth at the line for Kentucky State. Official telling these guys no elbows. I doubt Jonathan Johnson was a part of that. Johnson quick enough to get in there without trying to use any tricks. And the second free throw by Duckworth is good as Kentucky State reclaims an 11-point lead, 60-49 with 11:55 remaining. Now the other end of the floor, LeMoyne-Owen breaking the press. Batchelor with the ball, dribbles left side. He's got an open man, and number 32 goes the other way, though, to number 40. That's Savage. Pass, cross court, hits the rim. Kentucky State's going to come up with it as Diggs for Kentucky State's going to slow it down. Kentucky State leads by 11, 11:35 remaining. Diggs dribbles right side, dribbles down, could have gone to the open lane, pulls it back out smartly. Duckworth turns, finds Lewis. Lewis spins, shoots, off the glass, no good. Rebound Lemoyne-Owen Walker. Walker's going to give it up to Batchelor. Other end of the floor, Batchelor right side. Quick pass down. That's number 32, Payne. Payne's going to give it up, and he'll give it up to number 50, Voma Walker. Ridgeway next to me, assembling for the travel.
He did. He walked first.
And they're going to call a foul on Kentucky State in place of the travel call.
Excuse me. It's obvious in the post that time when the ball went down inside. The postman, who is Cedric Walker, got the man, Yeah, he tried to spin, but he moved both his feet. You can't drag that pivot foot, and he did it more than once. They were looking up top instead of watching his footwork. Yeah, there was body contact up top, but he had already walked.
So the ball will be inbounded by LeMoyne-Owen. That's number 32, Payne, inbounding the pass. Over to Batchelor. Batchelor now gives it up to Boykin. Boykin down low to Payne. Pass inside, stolen by Johnson. There's a scramble for it now. Steve Reese of Kentucky State comes up with it. He'll bring the ball down the right side of the floor. And there's a little mix-up between Payne and Jonathan Johnson at the other end of the floor. Now, I doubt Johnson is going to be the instigator in this. He's a passive individual. He's not going to be very aggressive outside of normal competition.
I can tell you what they're going to do now. They're going to call a double foul.
Let's see what ends up happening as the officials are trying to straighten the mess out right now.
They're going to call double fouls. And the LeMoyne-Owen coach is going to get him out of the game. It's exactly, you heard him, a double foul.
They're trying to work out the mess now. 10:57 remaining in the game. Kentucky State leads 60-49 over LeMoyne-Owen. Both teams vying for that number 2 spot in the rankings.
That's going to be 4 fouls on Ortiz Clays. They've called a double foul. That'll be the first on Jonathan Johnson. I knew immediately when I saw 2 officials in the back court working towards that tie-up with them back there. I told you right off the bat they're going to call a double foul, and that's exactly what happened.
You sure did, Anthony, and that's exactly what did happen. Ridgeway, the experienced official.
It's not
Anthony,
that.
what are your credentials now? You're an official for high school games, and you're licensed through the state.
Certified, yeah.
Certified
Absolutely.
official.
Yes. Absolutely.
So we have the gospel right here. Anthony,
I don't know about that. I'm human.
Well, your expert analysis for this, and that's valid for what we need.
But you got to remember, I'm just a student of the game. I've been refereeing for about 10 or 11 years.
Now Marlon West in the game for Kentucky State. He dribbles to the lane, goes up and off the glass. And I was kind of speechless there because he's a big guy. But
he's huge. But he took a beating on both those shots.
Yeah, quick step all the way to the basket. And Kentucky State leads by 13 at the other end of the floor.
Block.
Chris Duckworth gets up quick that time. Duck is only about 6'1", but he gets up like a big man, and he was able to block a shot down the other end. Kentucky State ball.
He had his elbow up over the rim, Steve.
Johnson in the corner now hits Duckworth on the opposite end of the floor for a 3-point shot. No good. Rebound by Owen. And that's Boykin going down the other side lane. He goes up for the shot, and it's blocked.
Duckworth with another block.
Duckworth all over the floor playing like a big man, and he'll get the ball back in the middle of the floor on our end. Diggs with a 3-point shot. It's good. And Kentucky State really starting to open this game up now as they lead by 16.
Steve Reese going to pick up a little cheapie in the backcourt. You know, and that drives Coach Bennett crazy. You know, they're up by 16 points, and he looks at him and he says, why?
You can't pick up those fouls. I mean, especially in the backcourt. You don't care if your guards get a foul up top before a shot or if they get a foul trying to go for a steal, being aggressive. But in the backcourt, when he's just doing a reach around, you really get upset about those calls.
I'm watching him now. He just took his hands off his hips. He was shaking his head, and he's still asking himself, why? Why would you do that?
Especially with a 16-point lead. You want that clock to keep running.
Exactly. He wants to get this one over with.
Put it in the bag and go home.
Michael Dupree has hurt his left knee, but they want to get out of this game. It's a blowout with no one injured and get everybody out of here.
Yeah, Michael Dupree now, you'll notice his right ankle is taped now. Before, his right ankle was not taped. And
so he's got the left knee taped and the right ankle taped.
Left knee, right ankle, and left ankle taped.
Yeah, seen that
before the game started. Now, he's had left knee trouble all week. It wasn't until just this early in the second half or first half where he actually hurt that right ankle.
2 free throws for Samuel Batchelor.
Lead cut to 14. At the other end of the floor, Kentucky State with the ball. Reese over to Diggs. Diggs now dribbles down left side, drives to the hole. And his shot's blocked, but he's going to be fouled before the shot ever goes up. And they're going to say that he pushed off this time.
That's incredible. Diggs had all he did was dribble to the hole. It's impossible for him to push off because he had the ball in the inside hand.
You know what? They're calling that foul. You're right. It was impossible because they're going to call the foul on Marlon West.
Okay, I'll buy
41.
That.
They say he was pushing off before it got down near there. And West now with 4 fouls. But, you know, before the game, Coach Patterson and I talked. Wes is not in the shape that they want him to be in yet. He just joined with the team a couple weeks ago. Actually, I ran with Wes during practice one day. We ran laps up here together and talked. Wes is very aggressive, good junior college player, and at one point, that guy right there would just take one step, dunk with both hands. So you can see that he's got a little bit of work to go before he gets to the point where they want him here at Kentucky State, but he's a very hard worker in practice.
He's a big kid.
And he'll get in the shape that he needs to be in. 25 years old, married, wife is back home in California, and she's cheering him on from back there, so we say hello to her, and we're glad to have Wes with the team. 9:43 remaining the game. Kentucky State leads by 13, 65-52. Samuel Batchelor at the line for LeMoyne-Owen, shooting the second half of 2 shots. And free throws no good. Kentucky State still 65-52, 13-point lead. Diggs brings it down for Kentucky State, 9:38 remaining. Loses the ball, he gets tied up. Batchelor strips Diggs, and Diggs and Batchelor end up on the floor.
Our next broadcast will be on the 8th, which will be Thursday, and that'll be against Lane College here at the Exum Center at 7:30. We have a 3-game homestand, actually, Steve.
They're going to bring Diggs out of the game here and put Michael Dupree in. Batchelor at the line now. He got tied up with Diggs as he stripped the ball from him. Diggs called for the foul. Now he has missed 2 out of his last 3 free throws.
That's 2 fouls on Diggs as he comes out of the game.
Diggs, he's really, Coach Bennett, wanting to get through some of these tougher minutes, the 9s, the 8s, the 7s, the 6s, the 5s, in order to get down with a few minutes left in the game. He knows he's going to need Diggs anyway, and since Diggs got pulled for a second foul, this is as good time as any to pull him out of the game and let Dupree get in there. Dupree's still hurting a little bit, but said, yeah, Coach, I can get in there. Dupree over to Reese. Reese quickly over to Badisa. Badisa goes up for the shot. And he has a baby shot that he was just not able to convert. That should have been a dunk. He dunks in practice.
You gotta dunk the ball. I don't understand that. You know, Badisa, as big as he is, and Coach Bennett is saying the same thing, dunk the ball.
He's wide open. Kentucky State clean to that 12-point lead, 9:28 in the game remaining.
If you dunk the ball, it doesn't have the chance to roll off the rim, and that's exactly what happened to him. Dunk the ball. And his first free throw is an air ball.
Looks like Ortiz Glaze saying something to Jonathan Johnson, trying to get in his head a little bit, telling him we're coming back on you, better watch out.
Johnson's not listening to that nonsense.
No, Johnson, very under control senior. Kentucky State the other way. Johnson now with the ball.
And just like that, Jonathan Johnson lays it in.
Yeah, that's how Jonathan Johnson will talk back to you. He won't say a word, but he'll put it back in the hoop for you. Now the other way, LeMoyne-Owen breaks the press. Number 22, that's Boykin. He dribbles down. He turns, elbows Reese, gets away with it. Shot goes up off the glass. Good. Just under 9 minutes remaining. Michael Dupree with the ball brings it up for Kentucky State. LeMoyne-Owen relying on their full court press to get him back in the game. Off of his backside, Dupree. That is not a travel.
Well, they actually got away with 2 travels. The travel the first time was in the backcourt because you can't go to the floor with the ball.
Dupree got the pass off, wasn't called for the traveling, but this end of the floor they called on Johnson as his basket will not count. 8:44 remaining. Kentucky State leads by 13, 68-55. Bishop now at the other end. Double teamed by Reese and Johnson. And Johnson grabs a hold of the ball and ties it up. And possession arrow is going to favor LeMoyne-Owen, so they'll get it back, but Kentucky State will have possession arrow with 8:36. Glaze now will pass it in. Throws it in, stolen away by Johnson on a bad pass. He'll go straight to the hoop, up and off the glass. Kentucky State again with a 15-point lead. Johnson, the leading scorer of the game.
Last 2 baskets.
And is the leading scorer for the game tonight. Press broken this time by number 22 of LeMoyne-Owen. He goes the full length of the court. That's Boykin, a sophomore from Macon, Mississippi, and he was able to make the basket. Now Kentucky State slowing it down. 8:11 remaining, 70-57 lead. Johnson looks inside for Badisa. Nothing there. They kick it over to Reese. Reese on the wing. Looks towards the basket. No shot. Duckworth, pump fake. Dribbles down the middle of the lane. Goes straight up. Dunks. Wow. Now that was something to see, folks. That was incredible.
With authority. That brought the crowd to their feet.
Let me tell you, this Duckworth is something else. He is the most mild-mannered Clark Kent kid to talk to when you talk to him. But he dribbled down the middle of the lane and dunked over 2 LeMoyne-Owen players. And Duck is only 6'2". And he got up in a hurry. And he's also 26 years old. So he's coming with a lot that time.
And, you know, he didn't just dunk it. That was a power dunk.
Now, he
with authority. Wow.
Well, you talk about something that was arbitrary. That definitely had some meaning.
Oh, wow. Woo.
That was something to see.
Michael Dupree picks up his 4th foul.
Dupree first to give him the high five on the way down the floor after that dunk. Kentucky State leads by 14, 7:50 remaining.
Samuel Batchelor hit his first free throw, the second.
And his second free throw is good. Kentucky State leads by 13, 7:45 remaining. Diggs down the middle floor, breaks the press. Johnson goes up for the shot, and he's fouled. If he would have not been fouled as hard as he was, they would not have called that foul because that was a late whistle. But that'll send Jonathan Johnson to the line for 2 free throws for Kentucky State.
When Trevor Frazier almost took his head off, he picks up his 3rd foul of the game, and that'll send Jonathan Johnson to the free throw line to shoot 2 shots.
Kentucky State leads by 14 now, 73-59, 7:45 remaining in the game. Both teams in the double bonus. Second free throw by Johnson. Little hard, comes off. Rebound by LeMoyne-Owen. That's Frazier. Throws it the full length of the court. Kentucky State steals it away. Can't get a hold of it. Loose ball picked up by 22 Boynton. He'll dribble down the middle floor. Tapped away from behind. He should have been called for traveling. Doesn't. Batchelor with the ball now. He should have been called for traveling and isn't. And he reverses it around to Boynton. Boynton over to the side at number 55 Walker. He'll take a 3-point shot. No good. Rebound Duckworth. Diggs now down the middle of the floor. Got the lane. Takes it. Goes up for the shot. Fouled on the shot and it won't fall, but he's going to go to the line. Good job by the freshman to create an open shot. Wasn't able to convert, and as he gets older, Anthony, you're going to see him start to make that shot.
I love to see Diggs on his drive to the basket. He has such tenacity. He's got that head down, and he's going full force, and there's nothing that's going to deter him.
First free throw attempt by Diggs, no good. Checking into the game now, Jonathan Harris. First look at him tonight, number 11. He'll replace Johnson. Johnson comes into the game.
3 fouls into the game for Samuel Batchelor.
Batchelor called for his 3rd foul, the senior from Memphis, Tennessee. Smallest man on the floor, but definitely not the quietest. Diggs' second free throw is good. Kentucky State leads by 15 now, 74-59, 7:12 remaining in the game. LeMoyne-Owen trying to break the Kentucky State press and do. At the other end of the floor, this is Boynton. Dribbles in from 10, goes up, shoots, good.
He's got a solid game.
He sure does, and he's really come alive in the second half. Now the other end of the floor, Reese over to Harris. Harris goes up for a shot, layup, no good off the glass. They've got to convert on those shots. Harris just got into the game. He should have made that one. Now the other end of the floor, Boynton off the glass, good. Boynton now with 6 of their last 10 points.
With 23 points in the game.
Diggs now bringing the ball up the floor on the press. Diggs keeping his dribble now, being smart. Hits Reese. Reese over to Harris. Harris, quick pass into Duckworth. Duckworth can't handle it. Harris got away with a travel that time too. And I'm not sure what they're calling right here. It looks like they're going to call a foul on Harris, though, and that's going to be his first foul as Jason Lewis will check back into the game for Kentucky State.
Jonathan Harris just checked into the ball game and picks up a foul less than a minute after checking in.
That's the football spirit in him coming out.
It's good to know that you got somebody like him coming back next year. This new coach is going to need the support of some of these guys that have been around for a while.
I was talking with one of the administration officials. They've got a few players that should be coming back, but due to academic reasons will not. And they also have a couple players that Coach Smith is recruiting here in state in Kentucky that he's going to be able to pull in. So that's good news for the Kentucky State football program. They really got a class guy in Coach Smith. I got to talk to him quite a bit tonight. Now, I really like him. They got to buy into his system, and they'll win here. Second free throw, good. Kentucky State leads by 9 now. The once 16-point lead is down to 9. 6:31 remaining in the game. You're listening to News Radio 104.9 WKYW and Kentucky State University Sports. Back in 1 minute, everybody. State University. I'm Steve Tressler, sitting alongside him. He's Anthony Ridgeway, as Kentucky State winning by 9 here, 74-65, but we still have 6 minutes and 31 seconds to go, Anthony. Diggs brings it down the floor for Kentucky State. Quick pass over to Harris. Harris over to Hutchinson. Now Diggs, top of the key, dribbles, right side. Hutchinson shoots the three-point shot. Good. Kentucky State leads by 12. Boykin for LeMoyne-Owen takes the ball out. Gets the pass over to Glaze. Glaze over to Owen. Full court press. Harris staying with him. Harris called for a touch foul that time.
That's going to be his second.
Harris called for his second, as Anthony just told you. Kentucky State up 12, 6 minutes remaining in the game, and that's going to send Boykin to the line. The one thing you hate about getting these fouls with 6 minutes remaining and a 12-point lead, Anthony, is it stops the clock.
Keeps that if the clock is their friend right now, but they're treating him as if he's an enemy. You know, you need that clock to keep running.
You sure do, especially with the lead. 77-66 our score here, 6:07 remaining. First free throw good. Second free throw from Boykin. Boykin, the one who takes his time at the line, the sophomore from Macon, Mississippi. Does have a nice game. Second free throw good, hits both. Kentucky State now leads by 10, 6 minutes. Diggs dribbles, middle of the floor, drives straight to the lane, up and in. Great job by Diggs again.
I love his drive to the basket. I spoke about that earlier.
Little out of control that time, but
it went in.
Yeah, went in. Kentucky State leads by 10. At the other end of the floor, Boykin makes a shot. Diggs breaking the press now. And they're going to call this foul on Batchelor. And if he's not careful, he's going to get a technical because he had something to say about it.
25 points into the game for Larry Boykin.
Batchelor now called. That's his fourth foul. That'll send Anthony Diggs to the line. Diggs from Columbus, Ohio, the freshman. Kentucky State 79. LeMoyne-Owen 69. 5:47 remaining in the game. Jonathan Johnson will check back into the game. First free throw by Diggs is good. Jonathan Johnson replaces Jonathan Harris. Harris going over to the bench, getting congratulatory remarks from his players. Diggs now at the free throw line for the second shot. Good, 81-69 Kentucky State. Batchelor for LeMoyne-Owen, bringing the ball up the floor. Cross-court pass over to Boykin. Boykin will drive straight to the lane, go up. No good, and they're going to call charge. Excuse me, no, they're going to call a blocking, charge on Boykin that time on Duckworth. Duckworth takes the charge. He almost jumped over Duckworth.
I didn't think it was a charge either. That's a no call.
Hey, we're at Frankfurt. It's a charge.
That's going to be 5 fouls.
So Boykin now is out of the game, and he really did a great job tonight.
He lit it up for 25 points.
Yeah, he really started to take control of the game at one point, and Kentucky State was able to snuff it out. So Boykin fouls out of the game. Now Batchelor has 4 fouls himself, the point guard. So if he goes out of the game, they'll have nobody to handle the ball, and the only person left on that floor that was a starter will be Glaze. 5:39 remaining in the game. Kentucky State leads 81-69. The officials trying to sort out a mess over here. We'll find out what it is and get back to you. 81-69 score, 5:39 remaining in the game. If you're just joining us, number 22 from LeMoyne-Owen, that's Larry Boykin, finishes the game with 25 points. He fouls out. Jonathan Johnson will go to the line. Technical foul is called on LeMoyne-Owen for a shot by Johnson.
Did they give you an explanation on what the technical was for?
Good. Have not gotten that yet. Second free throw by Johnson, good. Kentucky State now has built their lead back to 14 points, 83-69. Now, coming back into the game for LeMoyne-Owen would be number 40. That's Anthony Savage. He'll check into the game, and Ortiz Glaze will go out.
Savage, 6'5", 190-pound sophomore from Gaithersburg, Maryland.
He has surprisingly good hands for a big man. We saw that early in the first half.
Absolutely.
Diggs over to Duckworth as full court press is on. Johnson comes down the middle of the floor, and immediately he's fouled by Savage. Not the guy to foul. Jonathan, senior, good free throw shooter.
You know, this game started at 7:30 and it's 9:22. And what little hair Coach Bennett is, you know, he has over there, he's about to pull it out because all these fouls are being committed and he's in complete control of the game. He wants his clock to run out.
Johnson at the free throw line shooting 2 shots. First shot is good.
That's 2 fouls on Savage.
Second free throw on the way. Good. Kentucky State now replicates their biggest lead of the game at 16 points. 85-69. Bachelor dribbles down middle of the floor, kicks it over to Savage. Loses control. Diggs going the other way. Driving to the hole. Goes up. Shot off the glass. No good. Duckworth on the rebound. Couldn't handle it. And it'll be a LeMoyne-Owen ball with 5:17 remaining. Number 40, this is Anthony Savage. He inbounds over to Bachelor. Bachelor dribbles towards the sidelines. Throws it down. That's number 55, Walker. Walker, cross-court pass. Picked up by Fisher. Fisher dumps it down into Savage. Savage tries to get it inside. Walker finally takes a shot from about 12 out. Makes it 85-71. Johnson now at the other end of the floor for Kentucky State. Dribbles towards the middle lane. Kicks it over to Hutchinson. Hutchinson wasn't there. And Kentucky State leads by 14. Turns the ball over, 4:53 remaining. LeMoyne-Owen now going the other way. Bachelor passes to Walker. Walker on the wing. Quick pass, cross court to Fisher. Back to Bachelor, drives down the middle of the lane. Penetrates, gets to the short corner. Passes back out to Walker now. Walker almost lost handle on it. Was able to put it up and in though. And now it's 85-73, 4:34 remaining. Here's Chris Duckworth over to Anthony Diggs. Diggs comes down the middle floor, breaks the press, passes over to Hutchinson for 3. Hutchinson, shot up, no good. You don't want to shoot threes when you have the ball and 30 seconds on the shot clock and the 13-point lead, Anthony.
Well, I was going to say if they it take, you know, some threes in order for them to break the century mark tonight with 85 points.
You know, what's more important, though, breaking the century mark or maintaining your lead and letting some of that time run off the clock?
I don't disagree with you. I'm just telling you what they have the opportunity to do.
85-73, Kentucky State leads by 12. And just as Anthony Ridgeway says that, Coach Bennett sends in 2 of his best scorers to the game. Steve Reese, Michael Dupree checking back into the game. Going to give Carl Hutchinson and Anthony Diggs a rest as Marlon West checks in, and will give big Jason Lewis a rest as well.
See, I don't know that I would do that. People like Dupree and Johnson and Hutchinson, I would keep those guys on the bench. You risk the opportunity of having them roll an ankle. Michael Dupree is already injured. I see no need for him to be on the floor, you know.
Yeah, I understand your point.
This late in the game with the lead they have.
I think he wants his experienced players out on the floor to control the ball and really kind of carry out the game plan, which is when you get this lead, hold on to it. And Dupree takes advantage of an open lane but isn't able to convert the layup.
He should have used the backboard.
Now the other end of the floor, Savage not able to hold on to the ball from the pass from Bachelor. It goes out of bounds. That's going to remain a LeMoyne-Owen ball.
Everybody wants to finger roll. One thing I like about the great John Wooden, if you come within 10 feet of that basket, if you don't put it off the backboard, you sit on the bench.
Yeah.
You will sit on the bench.
And there's going to be a timeout on the floor. You're listening to Kentucky State University Sports on News Radio 104.9 WKYW. Back in 2 minutes, everybody.
2 minutes.
Welcome back to Frankfort, Kentucky, everybody. Kentucky State University leads by 10, 85-75, 3:48 remaining. LeMoyne-Owen with the ball, dribbling towards the middle lane. That's Earl Fisher up. Shots good. Kentucky State quickly going the other way. Reese now the other end. Shots up, no good. LeMoyne-Owen not able to control the ball. Looked like a travel to me as he didn't have control of the ball, but he moved his feet all over the place. Now at the other end of the floor, Bachelor dribbles, drives, charges into somebody, no call. 3:25 remaining in the game. Kentucky State leads by 8. LeMoyne-Owen steals the ball. Bachelor the other way, right side of the lane, goes up for the shot. Good. And the one-time 16-point lead is now at 6. Kentucky State trying to pass the ball in. They get it to Dupree. Dupree's got to get it across in 3 seconds. Does. Dribbles straight to the basket. Dribbles in, shoots. Good. Kentucky State leads by 8 again. 3 minutes remaining now. 87-79 Kentucky State. Bachelor drives left side, wants the shot, doesn't have it. Quick pass inside, shots up, no good. That's number 45, Frazier. And there's going to be a travel call on the floor.
He went to the floor with the ball. He sat down. You can't do that.
Duckworth holding his left leg in pain. He's in pain down there at the other end of the floor. Trainer running out to find out what's going on. And we will try to find out what's going on. We'll be back in just 30 seconds, everybody. Listening to Kentucky State University Sports on News Radio 104.9. Back in 30 seconds. Chris Duckworth coming off of the floor now. That left leg in lots of pain. As I don't know why they're not carrying him off right now, Anthony.
Looks like it's around that ankle area. I thought they should have gotten somebody out to get him off.
It's his knee.
Is it?
Yeah, it's his knee. And now back to the action. LeMoyne-Owen, the inbounds pass over to Batchelor. Batchelor shoots a three. No good. Rebound, Steve Reese, Kentucky State. Reese throws down to Johnson. Johnson dribbles right side of the floor. Cuts down through the middle lane. Goes up for the shot. No good. No foul call that time. Should have been, but that's amazing. And they're going to say it's out on Johnson as he was clobbered in the middle of the lane. There's a no call. Kentucky State leads by 8, 2.5 remaining. Maybe it's just cramps over there right now.
That's what I was going to say. With the way they're working on it, looks like he may have cramped up a bit.
Well, I hope it's not his knee. He's had a little bit of knee trouble this season and ankle trouble on his left leg. You see he's got ankle braces on both ankles.
Yeah. And, I like that. That keeps from turning those ankles. A lot of players should consider using them. They save a lot more ankles that way.
And it doesn't improve, any kind of movement really, because we saw him get up awfully good for that dunk earlier in the second half.
Hasn't hindered him any at all. Yeah, but it looks like they're working on a cramp.
Coach Bennett is going to pull his hair out, like you said. 2:19 remaining. Kentucky State makes a foul underneath the basket, not even on a shot this time. And the one-time 16-point lead down to 8 now. And that sends number 25, Earl Fisher, to the free throw line. He's a 6'2", 179-pound junior from Benton Harbor, Michigan. Went a long way south to play basketball.
Absolutely.
First free throw is good. They are putting ice on that knee and also it looks like on his hamstring, and they're working on it. Anthony Diggs is going to check back into the game for Kentucky State University. Diggs comes in, and he'll replace Marlon West. So we have Diggs, Reese, Johnson, Dupree, and Lewis in the game for Kentucky State.
Now Jason Lewis has picked up his 4th foul.
Johnson, quick pass from Dupree. Dupree gets it back, goes down the right side of the floor. He is hounded all over by number 55 Walker and Batchelor. No foul called, and finally they call one on Batchelor, and you can say goodbye to Batchelor.
I'm glad he's gone because he's committed a lot of fouls, causing that clock to stop.
And he is awfully fast, too. It's good to get a good defender like him out of the game for Kentucky State because he is all over the place. Very Derek Anderson-type player where he is all over the floor at once, and not a lot you could do about it. So that'll send Dupree to the line as Kentucky State has their lead cut down to 6 now as Kentucky State 87, LeMoyne-Owen 81. 2 minutes, 12 seconds remaining in the game.
Now we're waiting on a replacement for Samuels, who fouled out of the ball game, and they're going to send Rooney Payne back in off the bench. He wasn't very happy about checking into the ball game either.
No, he sure wasn't.
As you can see, Payne is one of those starters. He's cooled off significantly. And for him, it'd be like starting over again this late in the contest.
Free throw by Dupree, good, 88-81. Kentucky State leads by 7. Coach Bennett working the sidelines over here. Second shot by Dupree, good. Back to an 8-point lead now. LeMoyne-Owen going the other way. LeMoyne-Owen under control. That's Earl Fisher. Gets the ball knocked away from behind, though. Michael Dupree, Steve Reese, both all over him. That's swarming Kentucky State defense. Relentless pressure. Now Fisher with the ball. He'll have to take over the point guard duties. Pass inside to number 45 by LeMoyne-Owen. He goes up for the shot. No good. There's a scramble for it. Little bit of tipping going on. Nobody gets it in. Lewis now. Quick pass over to Johnson. Johnson down to Dupree in the corner. Dupree dribbles, goes towards the lane.
Good move.
Oh! Good job by Dupree. Changed his shot in the middle of the shot in the air. Was able to get it off. Kentucky State leads by 10. Three-point shot by LeMoyne-Owen. No good. Foul on Kentucky State on the rebound. And again, they're going to stop that clock with 1:35 remaining.
What a drive to the basket by Michael Dupree. Changed his shot in midair, scooped it from down under, laid it in off the backboard, all while hanging in midair.
Great athleticism. Looks like the foul's going to be called on LeMoyne-Owen. Somebody had pushed Jonathan Johnson. Looks like they're going to call that on Cedric Walker. That's going to be his first foul. And that'll send Jonathan Johnson to the line. Shot by Johnson. Good. Kentucky State leads by 11, 92-81.
This has been the longest 2 minutes in sports.
1:35 remaining in the game. Second shot by Johnson. Good. Going the other way. Fisher throws a pass quick over to Payne. Payne back to Fisher now. Fisher moves middle of the floor, swarming defense all over him. Quick pass into Payne. Payne shoots, blocked by Lewis, and Lewis steals it from him. Throws it over to Diggs. Diggs can't handle it as the ball goes out of bounds. Diggs trying to get down the floor before he had the ball, Anthony.
Completely threw it out of bounds. He tried to take off before he could get the ball. Coach Bennett visibly upset on that play.
The good thing about freshmen is they become sophomores.
That's true.
Now number 42 from LeMoyne-Owen, Glaze takes a shot, no good. Rebound, number 55, Walker. He goes up for the second shot. They're going to call that a jump ball.
Absolutely a great call because Walker and Lewis went up with the ball. Lewis is going to block it, but they had two hands on the ball from each player, and that's a tie-up. That's a good call by the official.
Yeah, no foul. Pass inbounds to Jonathan Johnson. He'll go down the other end. It's about time for them to start fouling, as they're going to start doing here, I'm sure, momentarily, and they'll turn this 1 minute into about 10. Ball goes out of bounds in any case. LeMoyne-Owen back the other way. Now Glaze is going to pull up for three, as their shots now have become desperate shots. Diggs going down the other end of the floor for Kentucky State. Quick pass over to Reese. Reese for three. Why are you going to shoot three?
Why did he shoot that?
12-point lead, 49 seconds remaining, other end of the floor. Another three-point shot, this time by LeMoyne-Owen. Rebound by LeMoyne-Owen. That's number 25, Fisher. He'll make it. And now Kentucky State with the ball. Over to Diggs. Diggs comes down the middle of the floor. They're going to try to get a quick foul here. Johnson, the senior, over to Reese. Reese shoots again.
Why?
I don't know. Rebound taken by Johnson. He puts it back up and in, 95-83. 31 seconds remaining, and Kentucky State calls a timeout. We'll be back in 30 seconds. You'll listen to Kentucky State University Sports on News Radio 104.9 WKYW. Coach Bennett giving his last instructions to his players over there on the sidelines, as he was visibly upset with Steve Reese for shooting the ball there. The three-point shot he took, and then a 15-footer, saying, we have the lead. We're trying to let the time run out. We don't need any more points. Let the clock run down. In any regard, Kentucky State going to take the floor now. And it'll be a Kentucky State or a LeMoyne-Owen ball. Kentucky State with the ball now, or excuse me, LeMoyne-Owen with the ball. That's number 32, Payne. He dribbles down the middle of the floor. Kentucky State told not to foul here. Let the time run off.
Reese out of the game. Thomas Beavers back in.
LeMoyne-Owen down 12, not in a hurry to shoot the ball. They threw it away that time. Glaze trying to make something happen. 12 seconds remaining, and I think the coaches from LeMoyne-Owen would be content to letting the clock run out also when the ball comes in.
I think that would be conducive.
And that's exactly what they're going to do. As time will run out, there's 8 seconds. Johnson puts a shot up and in, 4.5 seconds remaining. 3, 2, 1, and that's going to be the ball game, folks. Final score from Frankfort, Kentucky, the Kentucky State University Thorobreds 97, LeMoyne-Owen Magicians 83. We'll be back in 2 minutes to give you the final wrap-up. You're listening to Kentucky State University Sports on News Radio 104.9 WKYW. Back in 2 minutes, everybody.